Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make some very effective abstract motion graphics with shapes and the collider effect. So I'm going to start by making my composition. And file, new composition, I'm going to select 1280 by 720. There we go. And then I'm going to create a new solid layer. So this is just really as a kind of background. I'm not going to actually do anything with this layer, it's just going to sit there in the background. So it's going to be white for the time being, and click on OK. So on the layer window, what I want to do is click on the little lock icon, and that just locks it in position, so I can't select it and kind of move it around when I've got other things on there and it starts getting complicated. I'm going to start by making a new shape layer. Okay, and then I'm going to create a star with the star tool. I'm just going to click and drag and make something about that kind of size. And we're going to do the fill. I want it to be a gradient fill. So I'm going to click on, let's go back a bit. Okay, click on the fill options. Let's pull these things up here. And I'm going to select radial fill. And OK. Then I'm going to click on the color selection box. Drag it up again. Let's just delete. I only want 2 colors for this. Let's see what's nice. I'm going to get rid of some of these opacity things as well. So I've got 100% at both ends. I'm going to check. I can keep that. Ooh. I'm going to change it to kind of purple. That's nice. And click on OK. Then I'm going to adjust this shape a little bit. So I can go down to the layers and the shape layer. If you're not in that already, you can just click on that little kind of arrow by the side. Here's the parameters for that shape. And what I want to look at is the polystar path. So I click on that, and I'm going to change the amount of points it has to 16. And then I'm going to muck around with the inner and outer radius. So I want it to be quite sort of tight, like that. Let's change the roundness a bit. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Yeah, that looks good. Then I'm going to add another layer, a new, and this time it's going to be an adjustment layer. And an adjustment layer is basically like an effects layer. It affects the things beneath it with whatever kind of effect you're going to put in the adjustment layer. So if I can go to the effects, and what we're going to use is in stylize. Is it in stylize? Yes, it is. And it's going to be CC Collider. And you can see instantaneously what that kind of does. And it'll appear up here. And it's got different types of effect. I like the unfold one best. Although the wheel's quite nice. Go for unfold. You can change the rotation on that. Yeah. Let's get back to where it was roughly. There you go. The size. So I'm going to extend that a bit to about, yeah, about there. And what else can we do? And you could move the position of it. So there I'm moving it across the horizontal. And you can move it on the vertical. You can actually click on that point and move it around. So it's roughly, the area you're kind of working is kind of like a square in this section. And if we put it back in the middle and go back to our shape layer, click on that, and you can click on the polystar, and now we can move it around. We can see what kind of effect it's sort of having to create these patterns. Sorry if it sounds like a kind of hoovering in the background. That's my computer taking off. I need to get a better microphone. Anyway, so we've got that positioned. So we're going to do a bit of animation with that. What we're going to do, I might I might have it kind of pulse a little bit like that. That's kind of cool. So how would you do that? Well, what we're going to do is use a bit of scripting, a bit of coding, which sounds scary, but it's not. It's dead easy. So I'm going to click on the stopwatch for inner radius and put in a point. Then I'm just going to play it a bit, and then I'm going to expand it a bit. Then I'm going to copy the first keyframe I made by selecting it, pressing Control and V, the standard kind of copy and paste thing basically, and then Control V. And then if we play that back, it'll continually repeat that animation sequence we've just made. What I'm also going to do is add a bit of scripting to the rotation as well, so we can rotate that through like that. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key again, click on rotation, and this time I'm going to type in time, and I'm going to use the asterisk, which is Shift 8. So, and that means multiply by, let's put in 150. So as the sequence progresses, this little code will increase the rotation. So let's take it back. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. So you can do that with any kind of parameter really. Just hold down the Alt key, and you can use loop out, parenthesis, end parenthesis, or time and 150. I mean, loop with brackets. It's not parentheses, is it? Next, I'm going to add another shape layer. So I go to Layer, New Shape Layer, and I'm just going to lock the other layer below it so I don't interfere with it. This time I'm going to make another polygon. This time I'm going to, there we go. It's going to be a triangle, so the path is going to have 3 points. Just select tool and move it so I can see it. Let's rotate it round. I want it nice, I want it kind of thin. There you go. Let's rotate it around a little bit more. So we'll make sort of like a kind of diamond shape, like so. Stretch that out. Perfect. I'm going to go to the fill, going to change the color there, and I'm going to change the type of gradient to a linear gradient. And I'm going to select a different color. Let's go green to kind of blue. Let's just move that along a bit. Okay. And then let's move the in points a bit more. Looking nice. And I want to change how this kind of reacts with the layer beneath it. So if I go to the layer where it says shape layer 2, and in the mode, this column here, this is the blend mode. You might be familiar with this in terms of Photoshop. And here we have different ways that the colors can interact. And what I'm going to select is pin light. And that way we'll be able to see the other layer underneath, as if I was putting like a sort of transparent color overlay over it. And then I'm just gonna, let's play around with the and then we can, let's play around with the rotation, sort of changes its shape. That looks pretty cool. So what I might do is Alt time multiplied by, this time a bit slower, let's do 70. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, and then I'm going to add something else to that, which is wiggle paths. And let's get that going. So that's appeared now in the layers. In the parameters on shape layer 2, I'm going to select that, and I'm going to increase the size of the distortion on that. And then I've got something called spatial phase. There we go. And this will basically change. Why is it jumping up and down? I don't know. So I'm going to put time rotation on that as well. So Alt time, we're going to multiply that by 100 and see what effect that has. Wow. I'm not sure why it's jumping up and down, but it looks pretty cool. Okay, so you can keep going like this and just having layers and layers of kind of shapes and animate some of the parameters. So let's let's do another shape layer. Shape layer. Okay. What are we going to make now? Let's make a path. So I'm going to select the pen tool. I'm going to click and make a kind of curvy, wavy sort of line. No idea what this is. Okay, and let's move it about so we can see what effect it's having. Oh, if I can get it. There you go. That looks pretty. So let's put that layer to pin light. Okay, let's change the colors on that. Oh, that's nice. That red that's coming through now. What else can we do with it? Yeah, kind of like that. And then what we can do with that shape layer is add, let's add pucker and bloat. See the amount on that. Wow, that really kind of freaks it out. So what I'm going to do is put a loop in that. So I'm going to do, I'm going to put a stopwatch in there, move it along a bit, put another stopwatch in here, put another stopwatch in there, and then I'm going to copy this, put it over here, copy the first one. Oh, no, let's Command Z. Copy this one and put it over here, and then press Alt, and then loop out. So let's see what that does. Yeah, now we're cooking. That's giving me instant migraine. So as you can see, it's quite easy to make some really interesting stuff very quickly. What we could do to that also is I've got this white background here, so just unlock it. So I'm going to change the color of that. So let's go to, I can't remember where it is now. Layer, solid settings. So color here, I'm going to change that to, let's have a look. What happens if we change it to black? No. Oh, green. Green. Turn it up a bit. Ow. There we go. Click on that. And then for the icing on the cake, we go to the adjustment layer. We go to effect, add stylize, and this time we're going to add glow, and this will give it a kind of neon yeah, glow effect. So here's the glow parameters here. I'm just going to play around, tweak with that, because I don't want it too much. I just want a little bit of it. There's the radius there, just about there. I'm just going to change the intensity of it, just a bit like that, and then let's play that back, see what it looks like. Now I'm just going to change the threshold. I want to kind of pick up, I want to pick up the green as well. There you go. Brilliant. I'm just going to preview that now in a loop. Just select a small portion of it. Okay, so that's how you can make something very kind of effective with just a few shape layers, a bit of animation, and it's dead simple to do. So have a go yourself.